Hi, I'm going to show you some of the video I took today. What I'm first going to try to do here is use what's called the point of interest feature of my drone. This allows the drone to be centered on a particular point and then circle around it, keeping the camera aimed at it. So what I've got to do here is I'm going to line up on my house, which is what you see below. I'm going to line up on the center of the roof of that. I'm going to get a position immediately underneath the drone and in the center of the screen. So this takes a little bit of organizing because it's a little bit breezy out. And what you'll see is I move over to the house, and then I'm going to mark it. And once I mark it to the system, to the camera rather, then I'll angle it back up and move the drone out. And whatever distance I move it out, it will fly a complete circle with the center of my roof as the reference point. So here I've moved out about 30 feet, and I'll probably move out a little bit further. Then I'll angle the camera up. I think it's when I did this, I was out about 50 feet. Now I bring the camera up and aim it at the house. And then I'm going to push the button that actually starts the drone to go in an exact circle, and it will even maintain it given the wind conditions. It'll still be an exact circle because it uses GPS. So here we go, and now we can see it circling around the house slowly. It's actually going at about a 2 mile an hour pace, which is pretty slow actually, and I can control the pace. I can make it go 40 miles an hour if I want to, and I can control the direction. This is counterclockwise. I can also go clockwise, as you see it. So here we're circling around the side of my house, and we're now going to come. We're over the neighbor's house actually doing this. We're up right now at about 70 feet, as I recall. And you can see my shop there on the right, and the house is on the left. We're going to come around now over the backyard. And one of the things I learned with this is I need a filter. It's called an ND filter, and it filters out some of the white, the bright whiteness that's going to impact some of these pictures. Since I have so much white concrete, and we just painted our house so it's a nice bright color and it's reflecting and everything else, the white kind of washes out, and these filters that I've ordered will cut that down a lot. Here we circle around the backyard. You can see the black gate. Inside the black gate is where we park our RV. So now we're coming over to my other neighbor's house, and we'll come around to the side of our house here in a minute. And you can see all this as we travel along. And we're slowly coming back around to the front. You can see all the concrete I have, incidentally. There's a lot of concrete. It's a lot of fun to have to power wash it every year to get all the moss growth off of it. It takes me about 4 or 5 days in stints of about 2.5 hours each. So it can take a while. Right now the RV's not here. It's down at our place at the beach. And you can see we're coming around to the front now, and you can see me there watching for the drone to come back. So in a minute here I'm going to speed it up now. And I think I took it up to about 10 miles an hour. And you will see a dramatic difference as we go racing by. Here we go. Notice how smooth the camera is still aimed. Even though the drone is flying a complete circle, it has to keep the camera aimed. Not only keep it aimed, but also in the wind and the breeze conditions, the drone is actually bouncing a little bit. And it's actually able to keep the camera very steady. This drone is really impressive, and there's even a newer version out now called the Phantom 4, which has even more features. Now I raised it up to about 100 feet and just did a quick circle, just so you can see the difference in perspective. You can see the white is washing out a lot. I'm learning how to use the f-stops and things like that to correct this, but I haven't quite got there yet. So this is the POI function, or point of interest function, of the Phantom 3 professional drone. Now we're going to stop, and it has a pause function, so I just paused it. And now we're going to turn around and do a little tour of the area. Okay, here's our neighborhood from afar, and we're just going to do a little flyover, just kind of checking the place out. We're up at about 70 feet again, and now we're going up a little higher. And we're actually going to go quite a ways. The big street you see running in front of you is 175th. And we're going to fly around the block here basically first. Take a little tour around the block. So I have to straighten it out as I go around. So we'll just go down the street. Now we're going to turn. And this, I believe, is 6th Street we're going to turn on. Or 7th. Actually, I guess it is. And we're just flying over. Getting a good look at the area here. You see, we have a lot of trees in our neighborhood, which is nice. I have to tell you, the neighborhood looks much better from the air than it does on the ground. Some of the people really don't keep up their houses, but others do, and it makes for a nice contrast, I guess. Okay, now we're coming back around. We're up at about 100 feet right now as we circle. And there's my house and shop again. And now we're going to take off here in a minute and kind of go a ways away. We'll get back out over the street here. And you can see the big pit up ahead where they do some mining. And then we're going to take off and go and fly. Actually, we're going at about, well, we were going at about 5 miles an hour. We slowed down a bit here. But we can actually go up to 35 miles an hour if we wanted to. So you can see we're crossing the streets here and just crossed 175th again into a cul-de-sac in our area. Interesting tree straight ahead center screen. Looks kind of weird. And then we're going to turn around a little bit. Get a better layout of the neighborhood. Boy, somebody's got an RV and a lot of cars there. Sheesh. And then we're going to go up a little bit and turn around. We're now heading down towards 6th. And back around our block. We're going to be approaching the intersection of 172nd Street, which is a fairly busy street. Just kind of scan it there for you. You can see the cars moving on it. So we're going to cross that street here in a second, go into another neighborhood, if you will. We're actually crossing into the city limits now of Vancouver, which happen to be on 172nd Street. And there's a nice house over here that we're going to turn towards that has a swimming pool, one of the few pools in Vancouver. I checked to see if there's anybody out there. We could go scan them, but there's nobody there, so we'll leave them alone. And we're going to start turning around now to head home. So there's 8th Street, which is the street I live on. And we're just going to start coming in and start coming down. And we'll get ready for landing here. Please make sure your seats and tray tables are in their upright and locked position as we come in. And there's my front yard. Garage doors open. What I learned, one thing about when you go to land, is always good to aim the copter away from you, because then when you tell it to move to the right, it is to the right. If the copter is aimed at you and you say move right, it moves left. And so to avoid accidents, I've learned to come in backwards and position right over where I want to land. And then I just bring it on down. And as we get down to the ground here, we'll position right over the concrete where I want on the driveway. We'll land. And you'll see it bounce here in a minute. And you'll see the shadow of the propellers as we get close to the ground. There's a little bounce. And we're down. Propellers are going to stop. And video's over.